I'm Leah Iridium. Hope everyone's doing all right today. So, review time. Album review. Todd Michael Hall came out yesterday. That's May the 7th on Rat Pack Records. 12 tracks, including 2 bonus tracks. So, anyone doesn't know, Todd Michael Hall is in a band called Riot 5. Used to be called Riot back in the day, changed to Riot 5. I don't know the story behind that, really. I haven't heard hardly any Riot music, but I might start listening because this album is absolutely brilliant. So Todd Michael Hall, he was on the American Voice, The Voice, you know, that TV show. We get it over here in the UK. I think he got through to a certain stage, but didn't win it, I believe. He did Jukebox Hero from Foreigner at one point. I think that's what got him through. I'd have actually watched that. It's a brilliant performance. And really, I think that performance from Foreigner sort of, like, there's elements in this solo album. So what you get, and so what I've heard of Riot is more power metal. But when this album itself, you get a lot of variety where you're looking at songs that are inspired by the likes of Foreigner, Boston, but heavier, I suppose. But it's very guitar driven as well, this album. You know, it's a real fun rocking album with some, I suppose, late 70s, early 80s feel to it. But I think, you know, there's 3 albums that I've got to review, and I think this one surprised me the most in a really good way. It is absolutely fantastic. I love Todd Michael Hall's voice as well. He's got a similar voice and that sort of feel where he can sing high. You know, he's an automatic sort of high tone to his voice. That sort of, he doesn't have to reach. A bit like Tony Harnell, but also with a little bit of the Rush singer Geddy Lee. Or was it Geddy Lee? Geddy Lee, I think it is. So he's got that sort of mixture. It's real interesting to listen to as well. And you can hear every word, you know what I mean? He sings so cool, and so his pronunciation of the words, where you can hear everything he's saying. And what I love about this as well is it's got a real stripped down sort of production, where I'm going to go on about this sometimes, where guitars are too overlaid. There's, you know, multiple layers of guitars, and before you know it, the melodies are lost completely. This is a little bit more stripped down. You can hear, when you got your headphones on and blaring this out, you can really hear the guitar. You know, like you're there in the room with them. It's a cool production, and that's the first thing I want to say. I'm a big production man. It's a good production, so I'm happy about that. The songs themselves are great, and like I said, you get a lot of variety. There's some real sort of summer sounding songs. There's a little bit of bluesy stuff going on, but not too much. Anyone who watches this channel will know I'm not a massive blues fan. So there's elements of it, but you know, it's not a bluesy record. You'd never say it's a bluesy record. You would just say now and again there's a bit of blues in it, like there was a lot in those 80s, 70s and 80s bands. You know, occasionally they would touch on the blues a little bit. But this is a pure heavy rock record with some AOR touches as well. So it's a really fun album. And like I said, real variety, and probably the surprise, and I don't mean the other 2 albums I'm going to review, there's nothing wrong with them either, but this is the one where I wasn't sure what it was going to be like. I was impressed with the first single, Overdrive, and I thought, you know, this could be good. But the actual singles that have been brought out are probably my least favourites. The rest of the album is fantastic. So I'm going to get in it track by track. And let's just say the musicianship across this album is brilliant. Guitars, drums, bass are absolutely perfect on this. But the outstanding quality of this is Todd Michael Hall. It's his album. It's got his name on it, and so it should be. You know, it's all about his voice, really. But what you get is some great songwriting, and that's what you usually get when a singer it's his album, it's his solo album. That's when you get great songwriting. Sometimes when a guitarist goes and puts his name on an album, you know what you get. You get loads of guitar solos. It's all about jamming and just showing off. This, because it's about the singer, it's more song-based rather than about an instrument. So there you go. It's about him, but the guys backing it up in the band are absolutely fantastic as well. So kicking off the album, you got the first single, Overdrive. You shift my motor into overdrive. I love this from the beginning. I heard it. Real fun song, rocking classic riff, a driving song really. You know, you in your car, it's a proper driving song. Harks back to the late 70s, early 80s, where a lot of this album does. There's a bit of twin lead going on that solo as well. I love a bit of twin lead. The next one is the second single, Let Loose Tonight. Now, this is a bluesy song. So this is one of my least favourites. Although it's a good song, I'm not into the bluesy stuff, I'm afraid. But the voice of Todd Michael Hall makes it. It really propels it into so much more than a blues song, because you could love this song just because of his vocals alone. The next one, All on the Line, is an absolutely amazing song. There's a great big world out there, and there's so much we can do. And this has that foreigner vibe, that hot-blooded sort of chugging sort of vibe in the verses. Simple chugging riff, but I love this song. Such a cool song. This just brings back, it's really weird. I haven't looked at if any of these are cover songs. I haven't, because I don't recognise them straight away as covers, but there's a lot of songs in here that remind you, it propels you back, and you think, is that a 70s, 80s song? It feels so familiar, but that's just the vibe of the album, and All on the Line is one of them. I don't think I've ever heard the song, but it brings back memories of when I was a kid. This is the sort of music I listened to. Next up is Running After You, real summer vibe, looking back at your childhood, I believe. You know, the fun you had when you was a kid, when life was a bit more simple. I think that's what it's about. I don't want to say it's exactly like that, because, you know, a lot of artists leave it to interpretation. Could have been a huge hit back in the day. Also one of my favourite songs. It's another one that sort of transports you back to your youth as well, not just because the lyrics, but the music as well. So it's got that real 80s sort of vibe. Next up is Love Rain Down. This has and I know I'm comparing to bands, but guys who watch this channel will want to know what this album sounds like. So this Love Rain Down, it has a real Whitesnake feel to me, but pre-1987. You know, that my favourite Whitesnake era. Great vocals. Todd's voice is amazing in this one, as it is all the way through the album. Sonic Healing is next. A slightly sleazy, slightly bluesy feel to this one. Nice hearing Todd's vocals over the quiet, clean guitar parts. He's got an amazing voice. You know, he's right up there with some of the best singers. So he's got a great lower range as well. In this, he's got a lower range. And sometimes with these singers that automatically have that high range when they sing, haven't got a good low range. And, you know, but he has. He's got the perfect range, whatever range he's singing at. So he's got a lovely tone to his voice. Next up is Like No Other. Great chugging riff with Todd's powerful voice in the verses again. Such a classic sort of riffing going on in this one. Again, reminds you of, you can't say it sounds like a song. It's not a copy of a song or anything, but it's got that feel where it reminds you of a time in your life. Somebody's Fall is next. Very catchy verses, but into a very classic sort of rock chorus. Great song. So To the Bone is next up on the album. Nice slow sort of rock and roll vibe. Almost classic. I don't know, people would just think I'm mad, but for some reason this reminded me of classic Motley Crue. We're talking the first, 2 or 3 albums we're talking about. Very catchy, like sort of Motley Crue type chorus. But tell me I'm an idiot, but that's what it reminds me of. Next up is Long Lost Rock and Rollers. Now this is like a lovely sort of simple lyrics we can all relate to, sort of about the past days, the glory days of music. I think that's what it's about. So much fun. Pure rock and roll song, like 12-bar boogie song. A really fun song to listen to. Probably one to have a barbecue with beers and a few of your mates. And then that's actually the last track proper, and then you get 2 bonus tracks. I mean, I think they're on every album. I don't know why they're called bonus tracks, but they are. So the other side is the first one. Fun, energetic, rock and roll feel again. Sort of great solo on this. Has some Thin Lizzy vibes going on in this solo, without a doubt, like twin lead. I would, if it came on just that solo, I would say that's Thin Lizzy. It just really reminds me of them. And next up is a great closer, even though it's a bonus track, Not With a Sword.
But I'm from his mouth, and that's knowledge was born.
So very cool riffing, kicking the song off. Excellent groove, classic heavy rock. So I think this one, I would like to sing this. And like I said, I'm not sure if these bonus tracks are on every, album, whether they're on the vinyl. And I've got this on Spotify, so I'm not sure if it's just a Spotify thing, but I think this would have been great to have on the album proper. It's one of my favourite tracks, Not With a Sword. Absolutely great closer. That's it. So big recommendation from me. It gives you something different as well. We have got a lot of bands at the moment that are sounding very similar, especially in this symphonic type world we live in now. These symphonic bands, these power metal stroke symphonic stuff, a lot of stuff is sounding similar. This gives you something different. It harks you back to the late 70s, 80s, the best time for music really. But what this is giving you now, along with so many other bands, is giving you as good, if not better music than we had. Then people that are stuck in the 80s and won't listen to anything else, you're missing out. Said it loads of times before. Check out Todd Michael Hall. You will not be disappointed.